Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to our presentation on studying at the University of Passau. My name is Tanja Rieger and I work at the Academic Advice Service at the University of Passau, which means that I mainly advise international applicants how to find the right program to study at the university, also answering questions concerning the admission criteria, for example. And we also advise students during their studies in about any questions that might occur. Before I start the presentation on our degree programs, I would like to get to know you better. So I want to invite you to take part in our poll. Does everybody see the poll? Perfect. I see that you're voting at the moment. So I would like to know if you're more interested in bachelor degrees or master degree programs, which fields of study you are interested in. That would also be very interesting. And if you ever heard of Passau before this fair. Okay, about 50% have voted now. I'll give you a few more seconds to vote. Okay, about 2/3 of you already voted. I will close the poll now. And you should see the results now. So most of you are interested in bachelor degree programs, but there are also a few that are interested in master degree programs. So you already studied a whole degree before. Then there are a few interested in cultural and language studies. Most of you are interested in business studies in economics, computer science, and mathematics. And there are some interested in social sciences and in law. And about 1/3 of you already heard of Passau before. That's nice. So let's go back to my presentation. Yes, Passau is located in the southeast of Germany, in Lower Bavaria, near the borders to the Czech Republic and Austria. In fact, we are right at the border to the two other countries. And in Passau is the confluence of three rivers, the rivers Inn, Danube, and a smaller river called IELTS. And the city of Passau is a Roman founding, so it's quite old. It burned down in the Middle Ages and was resurrected in Venetian Italian style. So it's also called the Venice of Bavaria. And it's really, really beautiful because it's so nicely located at the banks of the river. And if you stand in the old town and you have a look at the point where the three rivers meet, you will realize that the three rivers have three different colors. So the Inn is more greenish and the Danube is brown. And then there's the IELTS from the Bavarian forest that is nearly black, and they meet each other and mix at the city center. So it's really, really beautiful. And it's also a very touristic town with a lot of things to do. There's a Bavarian forest, for example, where you can go hiking or skiing in winter. There are many roads for bikes. You can actually go by bike from Passau through Austria right through to Rome, for example. And it's really beautiful nature there. So Passau is also an ideal student town because the city of Passau itself is not quite a big city. It has about 58,000 inhabitants and nearly 10,500 students. So you see, there's a lot of students compared to the inhabitants. And we have the pleasure to have a so-called university campus, which means that nearly all buildings that belong to the University of Passau are located right at the River Inn. And from one end to the other end of the campus, you can walk within 15 minutes. So you don't need a car or something like that. In fact, most of our students have a bike or go by or walk to their lectures. And actually, students of the University of Passau have something like a semester ticket where you can ride the bus for free with your student card. So there are very short distances. In the last years, we are very proud that we had very, very good results in university rankings. For example, in the Times Higher Education ranking, we are among the best 25% worldwide. And if we have a look at the young universities that are younger than 50 years, then the University of Passau is even between the 8% of the best universities worldwide. So the University of Passau is quite young. We had our 40th anniversary a few years ago, and you see it when you have a look at the campus that the buildings are very new and look really nicely. And also in the national rankings, we are in the top tier, for example, in the fields of law, business administration, and information systems. Since its founding in the 70s, the University of Passau has a very strong international focus. You can see that in many, many points. For example, we have more than 260 partner universities worldwide. That means that we have a lot of exchange students at the university from our partner universities, but we also send a lot of own students to our partner universities abroad. That means in each of our degree programs, you can go for 1 or 2 semesters abroad and you can study there, for example, and get your credits that you do abroad transferred to the University of Passau. At the moment, we have more than 1,800 international students from more than 100 countries. And for those students, we even have our own international orientation weeks. During that orientation weeks, our international students should learn how university and studying works in Germany and get to know each other. There are social events like visiting the BMW factory, for example, or they have the traditional Bavarian sausages to eat and things like that. We also have a central service for internationals called the eStudy Coach. And our eStudy Coach provides advice, especially for internationals concerning how to study in Germany, but also advice on how to start your career in Germany after your studies. Now, before I get more into the details of our degree programs, I want to show you a video on how it's like to study at the University of Passau.
What day is it today?
Інша станція. Ще один новий початок.
Worauf soll ich mich spezialisieren?
Приємно познайомитись. Вау, Баварія така гарна.
She's friendly. Work-life balance? Check. My daily fairy tale moment.
Я думаю, я почуватимусь тут як удома.
Noch 2 Monate bis zum Auslandssemester. Ich mag sie wirklich.
Він мені дійсно подобається.
This moment is mine.
Den Kopf frei kriegen.
Clear your head. Do what you love.
Das tun, wofür man brennt, wofür man lebt. Der Weg ist das Ziel.
Жодна дорога не здаватиметься довгою,
The journey is the destination.
якщо наприкінці ти побачиш друга.
I found the right friend.
Я обрала правильне місто.
Ich habe die richtige Uni gefunden. What will you find in Passau?
So I hope I didn't promise too much and that you enjoyed watching the university in the city of Passau in the video. So what else did you know about, or what else do you have to know about the University of Passau? There are absolutely no tuition fees, neither for bachelor nor master's degrees programs. At the moment, we offer 39 different degree programs at actually 5 faculties. The Faculty of Humanity and Arts split it this winter semester in 2 faculties because there were most of our degree programs located and the faculty had most of the students, so it's split in 2 faculties. So we offer 21 undergraduate and 18 master's degree program. All of our undergraduate degree programs are entirely offered in German language. That means in most of the programs, you need German level C1 to apply to. There are few programs, for example, business administration economics or information systems or a history program that requires only B2 in German, but most of the programs require you to have a C1 German language certificate. The same is when it comes to our master's degree programs, most of them are taught in German language and require you to have German language skills. In many programs, in master's degree programs, you need additional language certificates like English or other European languages, for example, but we also offer some English taught master's degree programs, namely our Master of Science, International Economics and Business, the Master of Arts Development Studies, and the 3 masters of our faculty for computer science and mathematics, namely the Master of Science, Artificial Intelligence Engineering, Computer Science, and Computational Mathematics. For all of those English taught programs, you need level B2 in English, for example, in IELTS or TOEFL or Cambridge certificate. And we also accept medium of instruction. So if you have a first degree totally taught in English language, that might replace an English language certificate. So when we have a look at the law and social sciences, we offer the following undergraduate degree programs. We have a bachelor called Governance and Public Policy, which is namely a bachelor in politics, also with a small part in economics and law. All of our bachelor degree programs have an average duration of 6 semesters, and you don't have to meet a certain average mark. So if your school certificate or your educational background allows you to study directly in Germany and you have the required German language skills, you can apply for this program, but there are no additional admission criteria other than the language. Then we have a law program, an undergraduate law program called Legal Tech. Here you have an average duration of 8 semesters. A big part of this program is on German law, the big fields of law like criminal law, state law, and public law, but it also contains information systems and business administration. So people who study this program should later work in a lawyer's office, for example, and decide whether things can be done by artificial intelligence, for example, or if if you have to buy something like a program or write programs on your own concerning the digitalization of law. And then we have an undergraduate program called long cycle program in law, concluding in a state examination. That is something special because this degree is just accepted in Germany. It's a law program where you can later be a lawyer or a notary or even a judge for the German state. This program lasts 9 semesters. After 9 or 10 semesters, you have the first state examination. Then you have to do 2 years of internship in the German state, and after that you have the second German state examination. So it's mainly on German law. Then we have 3 master's degree program in this field. We have the Master of Arts Governance and Public Policy, which is the master in politics. And for foreign graduates in the field of law, we have the Masters of Law called German Law for Foreign Graduates. This master lasts 2 semesters and gives you a small overview over the German law. You cannot work as a lawyer or as a notary or judge in Germany with that master, but you can be something like a legal advisor for companies dealing with Germany, for example. And then we have a very new program called Legal Informatics. That is mainly an additional program for law graduates concerning information systems and computer sciences. So lawyers, for example, can decide whether they can use digitalization in their office, and you learn to write own programs, for example. Then we have a look at the language and cultural studies and media. There we offer a lot of undergraduate degree programs. We have the Bachelor of Arts Language and Text Sciences, which is mainly a degree program on languages, mainly the German language, but you can combine it with other languages like English or French or Spanish or Portuguese, for example, but even Czech or Russian if you like. Then we have two programs dealing with media. The Bachelor of Arts Media and Communication is more theoretical. So you learn a lot about media conception and more the theory behind media. And we have a more practical one called Bachelor of Arts Journalism and Strategic Communication. You can later work as a journalist or in the public relations field with this degree program. And we have our own Center for Information Technology, for example. And in this center, we have our own radio station, our own film studio, and there you learn also all the practical things you need to know when you work in media. And then we have two programs dealing with languages and cultures. There is the Bachelor of Arts International Cultural and Business Studies. In this program, you can choose a cultural area where you will be, I'm sorry, where you will be an expert after your studies, for example, in the English speaking area or the French speaking area. And this will be combined with business administration and economics. So people that study this program will later work for international companies, for example, in fields like marketing or strategic management or communications. And for those of you that are not so much into business administration and economics, but love languages and cultures, there we offer the Bachelor of Arts European Studies. In this program, you can also choose one of the European areas as a focus area, for example, the English speaking or the German speaking or Slavistic area, and you combine it not with business administration, economics, but with another social science, for example, politics, geography, philosophy, sociology, or arts, for example. Last but not least, we offer a bachelor called Historical Sciences, which is a Bachelor of Law in History. And of course, we have master programs that can be studied after those bachelors. We offer a master called Communication in Digital Societies that fits to those who studied journalism and strategic management. We have the English Taught Development Studies, which is mainly a degree program dealing with so-called threshold countries and economic issues. We have the Master European Studies. We have a master called Geography, Cultural, Environment and Tourism. We also have a master in History, the Master International Cultural and Business Studies, as well as Semiotics of Texts in Culture, which is mainly a German language master degree. When we have a look at the courses offered in business and management, we have the following undergraduate degree programs: the Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, Economics. then information systems, which is a mixture of business administration and computer sciences. And we have a program called Digital Transformation, Business and Society that deals with the impact of digitalization on business and economics as well as on social aspects. And when we have a look at the master's degree programs, we have the German taught Business Administration Master, the English taught International Economics and Business, as well as the German taught Information Systems. Last but not least, we have our more technical degree courses, the Bachelor of Science Mathematics, a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, which is much more theoretical computer science. So the focus here is mainly on the mathematical background, but it also contains something like an internship where you work in a group and program and you write a program and also make marketing for this program, for example. And for those of you that are interested in programming but do not want to have so much courses in mathematics and theoretical computer science, the Bachelor of Science Internet Computing would be the right choice. All of the masters offered at the Faculty of Computer Science and Mathematics can be studied entirely in English. So the Master in Computer Science, in Computation and Mathematics, and the Master Artificial Intelligence Engineering. Most of our programs start in winter semester, which means in the mid of October. The application deadline for the winter semester is mid of November until January 15th, except the Masters of the Faculty of Computer Science and Mathematics, as well as Development Studies. Here, the application term is earlier to give internationals the chance to come in time and get their visa. So everybody who wants to study the Master Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence Engineering, Computation and Mathematics, or Development Studies have to apply before December 15th. And only a few programs start in summer semester. And if you want to apply for the summer semester, the application term is mid of April to July 15th for the undergraduate degree program. I'm sorry, I mixed it up. So for the winter semester, to apply, you have to apply in summer. And that means when you want to start your studies in October, you have to apply between the mid of April and before June 30th for the master's degree programs and July 15th for the undergraduate degree programs. And for the Masters of the Faculty of Computer Science and Mathematics, as well as Development Studies, you have to apply before May 31st. And only a few programs begin in summer semester, which is mid of April. And for the start in April, you have to apply from the beginning of November to January 15th. And for the computer science, computation and mathematics, artificial intelligence, engineering and development studies, it's already December 15th. Applicants from the Ukraine have to apply via an external application service provider called UniAssist, which is located in Berlin. That means that you have to apply online and then you have to send your application documents physically per post to UniAssist. So UniAssist checks all your documents concerning, for example, the authenticity. They also convert your marks into the German marking systems, and they look if your application documents are complete. And if everything is okay, they forward your application documents to the University of Passau. And then you get the admission letter from Passau. The same is if you have to go to the Studienkolleg. The University of Passau does not have a own Studienkolleg. If you want to study in Passau, but you have to visit the Studienkolleg, you will be sent to Munich. So you apply for one of our undergraduate degree programs through UniAssist. UniAssist will check your documents and will see that you have to visit the Studienkolleg. And in this case, you will get an invitation to the entrance test to the Studienkolleg in Munich. So the entrance test is mainly a German language test at level B2 or C1. And if you want to study something technical like informatics, computer science, mathematics, it's also a test in mathematics. If you are interested how to apply via UniAssist, we offer a webinar how to apply via UniAssist. You can have a look at our website www.uni-passau.de/en/webinars, and there you find the next date when the webinar on how to apply UniAssist is. The University of Passau also offers German language courses. If you need language preparation courses before you study, we offer courses with tuition fees, namely the academic German year, which takes you from absolute beginner to C1. But it's quite costly. It costs about 3,990 euros. Then we have the German academic semester, which is for those who have already B1 in German and want to do B2 and C1. And in August, there are summer courses to refresh German language skills. If you already have the required level to apply, but you want to make sure that your German language is fit enough. As soon as you are enrolled as a regular student, all of our language courses are free of charge. So when you are enrolled in a program, even for example in an English taught master's degree program, you can sit the German language courses for free. But we also offer several other languages. In fact, 13 different languages. Besides German as a foreign language, we offer English, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Polish, Russian, Czech, Chinese, Indonesian, Thai, and Turkish from beginner level to almost native speaker. So where can you live in Passau? We have 4 state-run student halls in the city that are all in the vicinity to the campus, which means it takes you not longer than 10 or 15 minutes to get from the state-run student halls to the university by bus or by bike or walking. They're quite good in costs. So they start with a monthly rent of 175 euros up to 335 euros. We recommend you to apply as soon as possible for those state-run student halls because they are quite popular because of the good price, of course. But there are also a lot of independent and commercial student halls all in the vicinity. So on the other side of the street, for example, there's a commercial student hall, and the prices are about 400 to 600 euros per semester, per month. And what is quite common are shared accommodation in student flats, which means 3 or 4 students rent a bigger flat together and share costs. And here you have a monthly rent about 180 to 400 euros, and it usually requires you to pay a 2 or 3 month deposit when you move in, and if you leave the flat in a good shape, then you will get the money back. So what does it cost to study in Germany? It says you have to budget for a minimum of 940 euros per month in average, but that's the average for Germany. To study in Passau, it can be much more affordable. So you don't actually need that much money to study in Passau because the rent is much less than in other big German cities. And that is a big cost-saving factor, that the housing prices are quite okay here. You don't have tuition fees at the university, but you have a semester contribution of 104 euros. That means that you pay 72 euros for using the student services and 32 euros per semester for the semester bus ticket. So you can ride the bus within the city for free. There are no additional costs you have to pay to the university itself. Of course, there are a lot of opportunities to fund your studies. For example, there are a lot of external institutions that offer scholarships. For example, the German Academic Exchange Service, or for those of you who visited a German school can have a BIBIT scholarship. The university itself does not have own full scholarships, but we have an emergency grant for internationals. If you get in any trouble, you can get an emergency for 1 or 2 semesters. And there is the Deutschlandstipendium scholarship, which is about half a scholarship. A lot of students finance their studies by working, for example, at the university as a student assistant. That is quite comfortable because between lectures you can work in the offices of the university and you don't have to plan how you get the job and your student's life combined. But of course, you can also work in the city in a local company as a working student or in local shops and restaurants. That is really common even among the German students. So I want to summarize before we get to the Q&A session why you should study in Passau. So there are many possibilities to improve your German language before, but also during your studies. We have so-called subject-specific language programs. That means that when you study a law program, for example, you learn the vocabulary in the language you like that you need for your program and the vocabulary that you will need when you work later in this field. So if you study law and you visit a French language course, you will read French law books and you need learn the vocabulary you need. We have many interdisciplinary study programs. That means study programs that combine different subjects. There are many housing options with affordable costs in Passau, really below the German average. Concerning the costs, we have no tuition fees for internationals and moderate costs of living. And as I showed you in the videos and on the photos, the city of Passau is really an incredibly beautiful city. So at the moment, thank you very much for listening. If you have any additional questions after this session, please do not hesitate to write an email to us. Write an email to advice@uni-passau.de and we will happily answer your questions. So let's move over to the Q&A session. So the first question is, are the dormitories close to the campus? Yes, there are. The city of Passau is not very big. It's located between 3 rivers and it's all very near together. And also the dormitories are not directly on the campus, but near the campus, and you can walk there, go by bike or use the bus, and it takes not longer than 50 minutes. what level of IELTS is required for admission. So for our undergraduate degree programs, you do not need an English language proof because they're all entirely taught in German language. You need, for most programs, C1 in German, but for the English taught master's degree program, you need a level B2 in English, for example, in IELTS, in TOEFL, or Cambridge certificate, but you can also use medium of instruction, which means if you studied a whole degree in English, that might replace an official language certificate. So please just use the internet and have a look what IELTS level is equivalent to B2 concerning the European frame for languages. I think it also depends on the form of the exam, which type of IELTS exam you did. So the next question is if we have a special scholarship for students from Ukraine. No, there is no special scholarship, but there are opportunities, for example, by using the database of the German academic exchange service. There are a lot of different scholarship programs, and we have something like a scholarship program for students at risk. It's called Hilde Domin Scholarship, Students at Risk. If you are an official refugee, you can get this scholarship, for example. Next question is how to understand which courses are in English and which in German. So I think I already answered this question. All of our undergraduate degree programs, bachelor degrees, state examination degrees are offered in German language. Also the master's degree programs, we only have the English taught masters in international economics and business, development studies, computer science, computational mathematics, and artificial intelligence engineering. Next question is what criteria influences the price of a hostel? I'm not quite sure if you mean the student halls or do you actually mean hostels where you can stay for 1 or 2 days? Natasha, could you please specify your question? So I told you that there are different prices for the student halls and the varying prices are varying because of the capacity or the square meters of the flat. So the bigger the flat or the bigger the student room, the more you have to pay. But the price of the state-run student halls is the final price. So there's no extra price for heating, for example. The German courses Passau, how long they take place before the start of studying and which level students need at the start. So there are 2 different programs in the German courses Passau. One program is the German academic year that is starting in October and it starts with level A1, absolute beginner, takes 1 year and you end with level C1, hopefully, if you've passed the final exam. So you will be ready then after 1 year to start your studies in October then. And then we have the German academic semester. To apply for the German academic semester, you already have to show B1. So you need an official German language certificate at level B1. The semester starts in April then, and you will learn then B2 and hopefully C1, and you end that early, so you can take or you can begin your studies in October then also, which means that the German academic year starts in October. In April, they will be joined by those who do the academic German semester and already have B1, and then they do together B2 and C1 and start the studies in October then. Do I have to be insured as a student? And what kind of insurance is required for applying and where to get them? Yes, in fact, when you study as an international student in Germany, you need a German health insurance. And there are several official state health insurances, for example, the our car and several others. You can write them an email and then you get an insurance. It's not that expensive per month. I think not more than 50 or 100 euros. It depends also on your age. If you're older than 30, then you have to pay more. I will later have a look at the website. Somehow on our website there is information on the health insurance. The next question is it possible to change the program after a semester of study if you realize that it is not for you? And what actions are needed for this? Well, Sophia, it depends. It depends, first of all, if you're in an undergraduate degree program or in a master's degree program. It's certainly easier to change the program if you are enrolled in the undergraduate degree program, as long as you do not have a subject restricted university entrance, which means if you study the Studienkolleg, for example, you're only allowed to study a certain field of studies. For example, you did this Studienkolleg because you wanted to study business administration, economics, then you are only allowed to study related courses to business and economics, and you cannot switch the program, for example, to computer science or language studies. When you are enrolled in a master's degree program, it's not so easy to switch to another master's degree because each master's degree has its own admission criteria concerning an average mark, concerning languages you have to prove, concerning credits, for example, you have to prove with your first degree. And if you want to change the master's degree program, you have to apply again for the master's degree program you want to switch to, and you have to fulfill the entrance criteria. But as soon as you are enrolled in the university and you want to take another master's course at the University of Passau, you don't have to apply through UniAssist again. As an enrolled student, you just apply directly at the university then. The next question is, what determines the competitive score when students apply for scholarships? We have only two scholarships offered by our university. The one is the emergency grant. Well, that means that you have to show some kind of emergency. You got it in financial troubles or things like that. There are no other competitive scores to fulfill. And the other one is the Deutschlandstipendium scholarship. And there you have to show good marks and social encouragement, social engagement. I'm sorry. The next question from Roman. Can I apply with the certificate of Studienkolleg from another state, for example, Baden-Württemberg? Yes, you can. Of course, we accept certificates of other Studienkollegs. You know, when you want to apply for Passau, you have to go to the Studienkolleg in Munich, but if you already have the certificate of the Studienkolleg from somewhere else, it's not a problem. That means that you have a German high school diploma with the Studienkolleg certificate, and that means that you do not have to apply via Uni Assist, but you can enroll directly at the University of Passau. So you go to our website and you enroll like a German applicant. Next question is, what Studienkolleg can you recommend? Sorry, I cannot recommend any Studienkolleg. The thing is, in Bavaria, it's a rule that when you apply for a university within Bavaria, you are automatically sent to the Studienkolleg in Munich. If you apply for a technical Hochschule, technische Hochschule, or Fachhochschule, so a university with more practical content, you have to go to the Studienkolleg in Coburg, but the universities accept certificates of a Studienkolleg outside of Bavaria. So in other states in Germany, you might get enrolled in a Studienkolleg without applying for a university before. In Bavaria, you have to apply at the university to get the place in the Studienkolleg. The next question is, how hard is it to get a room in a Studienwohnheim? So in a state-run student hall. In fact, in winter, it's harder than in summer. So if your desired degree program can also be started in summer, I would recommend to start your studies in summer because you easily get a place in the state-run student halls in summer. In winter, it's quite hard because it's the most affordable way to live, and many students want a student-run state-run student hall room. So it could be that you don't get a room in your first semester, and maybe you have to live in a private run hall, for example. But latest in April, when the summer semester starts, many students finish their studies, only a few programs begin in summer, then you can move to the state-run hall, for example. Next question. Is it possible to have an additional course in the area of psychology? For example, major is computer science and minor is psychology. In fact, in our degree programs in computer science, you can choose a specialization called human and machine interaction, which is a field of psychology. But there's only a small specialization, so it's about 30 credits, I think, not more than that. And I think the last question, how much does it cost to study in Studienkolleg? Studienkolleg itself does not have tuition fees, but when you go to the Studienkolleg in Munich, the Studienkolleg is part of the Technical University in Munich, and you have to pay the semester contribution of the University of Munich then, which is about 200 euros, I think, per semester. But what is quite costly is the housing in Munich, because when you're visiting the Studienkolleg, there are no free student halls for the Studienkolleg. You have to, yeah, you have to search for a flat there with all the other students that like to study in Munich. And Munich is really, really hard to get a flat, and it's really, really costly. That is the problem with the Studienkolleg in Munich. So if there's any chance for you to visit a Studienkolleg outside of Bavaria, I would recommend to do so. So we cannot help. The Studienkolleg Munich is the one that is responsible for us, but if there is any chance, I would recommend you to do the Studienkolleg in another state in Germany. So are there any more questions I can answer for you? If not, please do not hesitate to write an email to me. Write to advice@uni-passau.de, and I will be very happy to answer your questions. If you need help with Uni Assist, you can also write an email. We have the webinar on how to apply via Uni Assist. And I remember there was a question before. I wanted to show you something about the health insurance. Maybe I find it quickly. I will share my screen. So this is the website of the University of Passau. Coming to Passau as a degree-seeking student. Oh no, I think it's getting settled. Costs of living. Here you find all the funding options. I'm sorry, I do not find it that quickly. I thought it was on the website on funding. Maybe getting settled. There you find, here you find information on the residence permit, for example, but also on the health insurances. Here it is. Here you find everything you need to know about the health insurance. And also the contact to the health insurances. So I hope that helps you. Is it big enough to see? Okay. Are there any additional questions? No? Then I'm very happy that you joined our session on the University of Passau and its degree programs. And I would be very happy if we would meet each other one day in Passau. So have a nice day and goodbye.